I our guys are in game week. It's a different feeling. You'll find a lot of energy around game week, especially the first one, and we'll looking forward to lining up against somebody else other than your teammate to have contact with. The rules are made, and they're made for quality reasons, and I certainly understand that. But we're going to miss that band. That band, pretty special. When you're talking about delivering spirit to a stadium, generally speaking, a great team and a great band can do that. And I can tell you, we're going to miss those guys. So it's been an interesting summer. This group of Jayhawks have fought social injustice, fatigue, the calendar, just the changes in calendar, and protocols. We've been jabbed up our nose, and then we put the saliva in a dish, and we have endured and we have enjoyed, and now we're going to get to play. So can't wait. It's going to be fun. Any questions?
Hey, Les, I figured we would start with the quarterbacks. Any decision on the starting quarterback so far?
Yeah, I would think that there's a good possibility that both quarterbacks would play.
So you're saying both McVitie and Kendrick could play this week against Coastal Carolina?
A couple quarterbacks could play, you bet.
And why has it been difficult to choose a number one QB up to this point?
At some point in time, you tell your team that this is the best guy, and then suddenly you get a splintered nail or a broken hand or a something, and you just spent your time saying that this is your starter, when in reality there's closer proximity than you think. And so why would you bemoan your starter unknowingly by just naming who your starter is?
Do you feel like there's a leader in that competition right now?
I think there's a number of real quality people there, and I think that's really the most important piece. Taking snaps and making sure that you understand that offense and that your communications with your teammates are tight. And we're fortunate to have a couple guys that could do that.
So if you went with two quarterbacks, how would that work? Would you rotate one series in and out? Would it be a couple series for each guy? What's kind of your strategy for something like that?
Yeah, we would probably take that series by series, and if it's we substitute, it's not necessarily representative of quality of play or lack of their quality of play. So I think it's it's always been smart not to just talk off the cuff.
Hey Les, so down the stretch, the competition is kind of, I guess, winding down as we get towards the game. How do you feel that the two guys, Miles Kendrick and Thomas McVitie, have been handling it?
Hey, do me a favor. Turn that thing up so I can hear it a little bit better, if you don't mind. I think both Thomas McVitie and Miles Kendrick are really in position to play and play well. And let's see. Let's see how they perform before we judge them.
And then you had mentioned that it could possibly be, I guess, a series decision. Is that going to be a decision that you make, or are you going to, I guess, talk with coordinator endearment about that?
Absolutely. We would visit with any assistant coach about position change and how we want to go with another guy. And so, yeah, that would be certainly that's my decision. That decision will go with. We'll want Bierman to weigh in on it.
Hey, Les, I know this is your job to prevent this kind of thing, but I'm just curious, like in general, with how the rules have been different with practice and stuff, do you expect the quality of play just across college football to be similar to what we've seen in the past? Is it realistic to expect that?
Yeah, to me, I think it looks very similar right here. So I can't imagine that it would be it wouldn't be any that there would be less likely change in the style of football and how we play it and the execution of how we're playing football. I think would be the same.
Hey, Les, is an ideal scenario for you, specifically what you're hoping to see, that one quarterback through kind of both of them or multiple seeing time would kind of take the reins of the position and you'd move in the direction of going toward one quarterback? Or are you hoping now to see kind of both play throughout the season and play well?
I think it really kind of depends on how they play. If they start and one starts fast and stays at that speed, we might make a change anyway just to see, how the other responds. And I can't imagine that we won't enjoy the play of one or two of those guys. And I figure that they'll play well.
Sure. And then when you look back to the Coastal Carolina game last year, specifically from, I guess, the way the offense managed play calling, things like that, are there any things that you've been able to look back on and that you would either go back and change, any regrets, anything like that?
Well, I'm sure there's some changes that should be made and some that we looked at and made quality decisions. But I think the Coastal Carolina game from a year ago is old news. Different coordinator, different guy. So.
Gotcha. And then just last thing for you, Andrew Parchment, pretty high expectations coming into this season based off what he did last year for you guys. I guess, what are you expecting from Andrew and what have you seen from him thus far?
He's had a very strong camp, ball skills, really, when you throw a 50-50 ball, it's really 60-40 Parchment. And a talented guy that we would expect to play extremely well in this game. And
Hey, Les, I've got a couple questions. On the depth chart that just came out, I noticed a couple true freshmen on there, and I was hoping you could talk about them. Karan Prunty and then Bryce Cable at tackle. Just what have you seen from those and guys in fall camp?
Cable has got great feet, ability, long levers. I think he develops very nicely into a really good left tackle. Prunty is a guy from the Tidewater area, wins the 60-meter dash in high school in that very, very athletic area. And so I think we're pretty excited. I think we're excited with the fact that there's a number of freshmen that are going to play significant football for us. And really can't wait to see how they play this year.
And then also on the depth chart, I notice you've still got a battle going on at place kicker. What are you looking to see from those guys here in the last week?
Liam is just a tough, hard-nosed, going to compete kicker. And Brocella, he's, again, he's wants to compete, understands what to do. So I think it's a similar scenario as it was. It's going to be those two guys fighting it out.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to kind of get a gauge as to heading into week 1 this year. What's your confidence level with the team when compared to last year heading into week 1?
I think it's I think I know what to expect. And there's I think a confidence that comes from our room that I enjoy. Energy from our room that I enjoy, and so I think my confidence level is strong.
And have you guys? I'm sure there are a lot of times where you practice for large crowd sizes, lots of crowd noise, where you'll pump in crowd noise. But obviously, for week 1, there's not going to be any fans of the game, so it's going to be a lot more quiet. Have you been having conversations with the guys about playing in a really quiet, big atmosphere?
Yeah, we're it's something that you're going to bring them to the field and understand. We've practiced. We started a practice at 9:00 and had a piped in crowd noise and really kind of enjoyed the idea. Certainly enjoyed the temperature of the night. So, yeah, I think our guys will understand crowd noise.
Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Les, I just wanted to ask, when you look at last year's tape against Coastal Carolina, is there anything that you look at where you can see is that being beneficial heading into Saturday's game?
Well, rather than give the game plan away, I think there's certain adjustments that have been made, certainly in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams, that have allowed us to, step in and fight and feel like that they, as a team, know what to expect and how to operate.
And on the defensive side of the ball, is there anything in particular that you're hoping to see from that group? And is there any player you're especially excited to watch out there?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Prunty and 6'1" guys with corners that can move their feet and go make ball catches, and I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. Sam Burt's had a great summer camp, and I would think that he would be a guy that you would enjoy watching up front. Kyron Johnson, big, fast linebacker, one of the fastest guys on our team. Drew Prox, who was our leading tackler a year ago, is back and playing just, lights out, and we're looking forward to his participation. So Denzel Feaster, there's potential for this football team to be a very talented team, and we come out and play like we're supposed to. Certainly that'll be a nice start to the season.
All right, any other questions for Coach Miles? If so, you can go ahead and just unmute and ask Benton. I saw your hand. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Les, you guys obviously have a pretty talented receiving group with Parchment and Robinson and Kwame and even some of the younger guys. What kind of challenges does it present to your receivers maybe having to play with 2 quarterbacks in a game?
Well, the good news is the offense doesn't really change. They're still responsible to block on runs and passes, and they're still responsible to block on passes and runs. And it's they'll recognize the competition, and I think competition is something that Emmett Jones kind of breeds in his position room. He's a guy that he wants those receivers to compete with each other. That meaning that when they get on the field, they're not only do they want to run their technique right, they want to help teach the young guys how that technique works, and then they want to prove to everybody in the room that that's how it's done, and they do it. So I'm pretty excited about seeing those wide receivers play.
Coach, how has Puka looked this camp?
Same guy, Puka Magic. Make you miss. He can go the distance. So we're excited about him.
Coach, with a lot of teams hit by COVID, how has your team stood up? Can you give the numbers?
I cannot give the numbers, but I can tell you that it was a small number, and I can tell you that they have handled it very well. There's they understand protocol, they understand the use of this mask, and I think they have to stay on pace, but I think they've handled that and handled it extremely well.
Hey, Coach, question about the defense for you. 2 years ago, I know it was a year before you were here, obviously, Kansas ranked top 10 nationally in takeaways and turnover margin. Last year, obviously, that was a little bit different. It seemed like a struggle for the defense to create takeaways. How do you fix that, and is that something that's specifically been emphasized in the lead up to the season?
It's something that we've emphasized really on a regular basis, and it's not only emphasized on the defensive side, but the offensive side. Ball security and takeaways are something that we want to have happen on a regular basis, and we do that. Certainly, that is the most determining factor of victory.
Sure. Sorry, are there specific things you guys are doing, though, this camp maybe different than last year, or anything that I guess has become more important, particular drills, strategies, approaches?
Yeah, I think there's different drills that we use in different times, but I think there's a number of really obvious quality ball secure drills, and they're on them.
Coach, what kind of growth are you expecting to see out of Velton Gardner this year?
Well, we would expect that he would play a lot of snaps in this game, and he would continue to grow. He has made growth. He's competing, and we enjoy him.
Any other questions for Coach Miles?
Hey, one quick one from me. Just about kind of the Big 12 made public kind of their plans for cancellation thresholds. They kind of detailed a 53-man roster, 7 O linemen, 4 interior D linemen, 1 quarterback. Just wanted to know what your kind of thoughts are about that format, and do you think that's going to allow the Big 12 teams to play all 10 games this year?
I think you have a real chance to play all your games. I think it doesn't say the starting quarterback that you started the season with. It says you need to have 1 to start the game. And to me, that is, they're giving you every chance that they can to come to the field with a team in play. There are obviously 6, 7 offensive linemen, so many defensive linemen. We'll have linebackers. I mean, it appears to me at this point, there's probably some areas of weakness across the conference, but I think we're in pretty good shape.
Just to follow up on what Benton just asked, do you expect the other coaches and programs, the other 9 in the Big 12 conference, to operate completely ethically, honestly regarding, I guess, the numbers that they submit specifically about the quarterback position and other things with regard to cancellations versus no contests?
Yeah. I don't know how they don't do it any other way. First of all, the person that you're cheating is your own team, and I can't see that the other coaches of the conference would play anywhere but square, and just the way it looks from where I'm sitting.